We're back. You're listening to Executive Leaders Radio. This is your host, Herb Cohen, and we'd like to introduce Rosemary Pinto, partner of Feldman and Pinto. Rosemary, what is Feldman and Pinto? What are you guys doing?
Feldman and Pinto is a litigation firm. We represent individuals who have been seriously injured as a result of either a medical error or a pharmaceutical.
And how large or how small is the firm?
We're 4 attorneys, and we have a support staff.
And where are you from originally?
A suburb of Philadelphia.
Alrighty. How many brothers and sisters?
2 older sisters and a younger brother.
So you're the third of 4. And what were you doing 8 to 14 years old? What was keeping you occupied?
Basketball. I was a point guard, and I also coached basketball.
What was the personality trait you brought as the point guard?
I'm a little bossy and controlling, but in a good way. I had a vision for how the game should be played and where everybody should be, and I executed it. And
what's that have to do with the build of this law firm, Feldman and Pinto, the fact that you were the point guard?
Well, I think both my partner and I take a case, and we realize that there's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of witnesses, a lot of issues, new issues that you have to learn in every case, and you have to be able to put it together and have every member of the team, because all our lawyers work on our cases, all our support staff, sometimes we're coordinating with other lawyers, experts, everybody's got a role, and they all have to play it at the right time, in the right way, to make the trial successful for the client.
And you mentioned you also coached grade school basketball. Why were you doing that? What was in that for you?
It was well, first of all, I just love basketball. I love the teamwork, how you take 5 people and coordinate to get that ball in the basket. And you have to have a plan, and how you're going to move the defense so that you get your shot. And it's kind of the same thing in a trial. You have to know what the defense is going to do and how you are going to beat them to get a verdict for your client that's going to change their life.
But why does this coaching thing turn you on?
I just think it's helping people to work together towards a win.
Shannon.
Rosemary, who was someone you looked up to outside of immediate family members when you were growing up?
That would be my Aunt Kathleen, who was and still is a Sister of Mercy. She taught and ran retreats, and I watched her in her life change people's lives. And really, I would say their goal as Sisters of Mercy was to bring peace and love into people's lives, and they achieve it every day.
You watch her change people's lives. What do you mean by that?
She would take people's issues and help them to come to peace with whatever was going on in their life. And they ran a lot of retreats, and it was inspiring to watch people changing other people's lives.
And at what point when you were growing up did you realize exactly what she was doing?
I went to teach with her after college. I taught at Mary Mercy Academy with her.
Tell us a little bit about how you met your partner.
I met my partner when we were both young lawyers at a defense firm in Philadelphia. We were young associates who really didn't know a lot at that point, but we realized that both of our fathers were friends. They were trial lawyers that had gotten to know each other through trials.
And tell me a little bit about your dad. What did he do for a living, and what did you feel about him?
My dad was everybody's hero. My father was a litigation attorney for the defense. He represented car manufacturers, and he taught us early on that hard work equals success. And he also taught us about the importance of the justice system, that juries will generally do the right thing and come to the right decision, and that lawyers have the ability to change the world. Even though he was on the defense side, I understood as a young kid that some plaintiff's lawyer changed the world, getting seatbelts put in cars. My dad was always talking to us about how these things worked, and I realized that the legal system is a really important part of our country because it evens the playing field and puts people back in a position they were in before they were hurt.
Tell me more about how you think about, you're changing the world. What's that look like?
Well, my partner and I, we try to be very selective in our cases and take cases for people who are seriously injured as a result of some error or mistake that never should have happened, and they need help. It's not just about getting money, although that is the best we can do as lawyers when somebody's horribly injured, but It's more about fixing their lives. You have a parent who can't work anymore because of what somebody did to them. They want to put their kids through college. Or you have a brain-damaged baby who can't walk
And
or
tell me
talk.
about this. You mentioned that you started your career on the defense side. What's the benefit to your clients of your experience starting on the defense side?
Well, having been a defense lawyer for so many years, I understand how they think. I understand what they're going to do. And when I go to trial, I usually have a legal pad. I have a lot of legal pads, but one of my legal pads is a list of everything I would do if I were them. And I'm ready for everything. And they usually miss half of them. But the half that they get, I'm ready for.
So you're the kind of person that, you see the big picture, and you like to be on top of stuff all the time, don't you?
Of course.
So you're really well organized.
Absolutely. When we go to trial, there's nothing that I don't know that anybody's going to say or what the evidence is that's going to come in. And my partner's the same way.
And you mentioned that there was a quote here I wrote down that if it's not going well, you're going to have to fix it. You also seem to be the type of individual that takes responsibility for stuff. Am I right about that?
Absolutely. When I was in college, they taught me, when I was going to become a teacher, that if the class is not interested and not getting the point, then you're doing something wrong. And as lawyers, my partner and I realize that. And trials can go any amount of different ways with different things that arise, and you have to be able to adjust and realize that if something's not going your way, fix it and find a way to make it work. And that's what makes it.
So
a trial lawyer.
you were learning to be a teacher, and the folks that were teaching you to teach told you that if you don't have the class's attention, it's your fault.
Correct.
Tell me more about that and how that's helped you build this law practice and serve your clients.
Well, a jury is very much like a class of students. They are there and they want to do the right thing. And they want you to teach them what happened and where it is you expect them to go. And so my experience teaching very much helps me in front of a jury, because that is what I view my role as, to teach them what happened and what the fair decision is at the end of the day.
Rosemary, can you tell us a little bit about your mom and what she was like when you were growing up?
Sure. My mom was tough, and I was very critical of her as a youth. I had, in my head, I thought I knew everything that she did wrong. And then when I got into high school, she shared with me that she had a very difficult upbringing involving some abuse that was pretty awful. And my whole picture of my mother changed then. I realized that she was a rock star and that she had given us such a beautiful life and overcome such hardship. And I think that really helped me to understand people and not be so judgmental of anyone, because I realized that I might not know that backstory and I might have to find it out.
And what do you bring from Mom with you to work every day?
Just the ability to care about people and to not let any adversity get you down, and just keep going, and it'll all turn out well if you keep that in your head.
And so you went from teaching and decided to become a lawyer. What
Yes.
advice would you give young women who aren't sure if they have what it takes to go into the law field?
I would say if you have an interest in justice and fairness and helping other people, litigation is the place for you. If you just want to make money, I would not advise going into the law, because I think you have to really care about the people that you're representing that are hurt and want to make a difference in their lives, because jurors aren't stupid. They know if you're genuine, and if you're some slick shyster just going in there trying to pull the wool over their eyes, they see it. They want to know that your clients really deserve to be helped.
It sounds like you really care about your clients.
Of course I do. It's really important to help people change their lives back to the place as best you can that they were before they were injured. like I started to say before, a parent who can't work anymore, well, they have to support their kids, or a brain-damaged baby who will outlive their parents and they need to be supported. So those are the types of things that are very important that we achieve when we take cases to trial.
Rosemary, what's the website address for this organization, Feldman and Pinto?
It's feldmanandpinto.com.
feldmanpinto.com.
Yes.
All right, we've been speaking with Rosemary Pinto, partner at Feldman and Pinto, here on Executive Leaders Radio. We'll be back in a moment, right after this Business Spotlight.